last week we've been getting pretty heavy with the topics here on the podcast. Yeah, we talked about fear of failure. Last week we talked about, that procrastination in business, that waiting, that not taking the plunge. And today I want to talk about judgment because, we're getting stuck in. And so many of us fear being judged by others when we think about starting our business, when we think about growing our business. And that seems to be a reoccurring topic that comes in from my coaching clients. So often people are worried about what others will think. They're worried about scaling their business. They're worried about growing their business. What will everyone think if I try and grow my business? Will everyone think that I'm, bigger than, what do they say? I'm too big for my britches. Is that a saying? All of that goes with it. She's full of herself. Who does she think she is? All of those stories that we tell ourselves that we probably picked up in the playground, let's be honest, because kids are not nice. And so we tell ourselves these stories, these same stories that we were telling ourselves in year 9 when we were in the playground and those girls were saying nasty things. I think this is one of the biggest reasons that people hold back. This is one of the biggest reasons that people don't push forward, that don't grow their business, that don't step into that next level, because we're worried. We're worried about what people are going to say and what people are going to think about us. And so today I kind of want to reframe that because it's not helpful. Firstly, it's not helpful. That train of thought, not helping anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping your mental health. It's not helping your business. And it's not good for the people around you, especially those of us who are mums of young people. That fear that's holding us back, we would never wish that for our children. We would never want that for them. So why do we carry it around for ourselves? So I think it's important to acknowledge where it comes from. And, I laugh and joke about year 9 girls. But so much of that judgment stuff does happen when you're trying to develop and discover who you are. And I thought that was just, a challenge that I was going to have for myself when I was in year 9. But it turns out the challenge of discovering who you are and what you bring to this world is lifelong. It's a lifelong journey of trying to figure this stuff out. And so when you are going through a period of growth, when you are going through a period of unsureness, all of that stuff from your childhood comes back. All of that, who am I and how do I want to wear my hair and what kind of socks will I wear? Socks were big for me in year 9. What kind of socks would I wear? Would I be a rebel and not wear the uniform socks or like the cool kids? Or would I wear the uniform socks? These patterns, these stories, they continue with us. And so the same fear that I had in the playground about choosing my sock choice or where I would sit or what I would bring for lunch, those same stories come back and talk to me when I'm trying to grow my business, when I decide I want to launch a new program, when I want to do a brand new event, when I want to play big, when I want to reach into my uniqueness and do something that celebrates the person that I am and put that out into the world. All that stuff comes up. So if this is resonating with you, if you are thinking, yes, I feel that, I don't want to grow my business because what will everyone think? I encourage you to get down to the nitty-gritty of where that comes from, to figure out where that started, to figure out whether or not there's any truth to it, because there probably isn't, and to figure out why, what's the rhetoric that you can tell yourself instead of that will be more helpful to you and to your business in order for your business to grow. And some of these things, there's some of these limiting beliefs that we have about what our business should do and how our business should look. Some of those come from ourselves and some of them come from others. But I encourage you to look to yourself first. Brene Brown always says you don't take advice or criticism from people who are not in the arena. And so you're very much in the arena if you're running your own business and stepping out and standing out in your power. So I encourage you to look deep within for what are those limiting beliefs and where did they come from, and do that work. What is holding you back from growing? Because often, whilst we might blame other people, or what will they say, or, what will my mum think? Often it comes down to us and it comes down to ourselves. It's not necessarily external factors, it's internal. And so what can we do for ourselves? I talk a lot about, self-care, and self-care is about filling up your own cup and filling up yourself in your own self-worth in order to be able to go out into the world and to do great things. And I encourage you to do that self-work, and whether that starts with just being kinder to yourself, whether it starts by the words that you're using to speak to yourself, or whether it's more practical than that. Are you giving yourself time and space to look after your body and to nurture your mind and to grow as an individual? Because all of those things have an impact on how you're going to then go on and grow your business. So do you have those limitations that are holding you back? Do you have a story that you're telling yourself, big businesses for other people, or successful businesses for other people, but not for me? Perhaps you're telling yourself that when you hit a certain revenue target, then you'll be able to invest in something, or then you will have made it. And that will also have an impact on, the stories that you were told when you were younger. What does success look like for you? And how does that feed into who you are and what you want to achieve? That work is really, really important. So I encourage you to start there. Start within, figuring out what those limitations are, what is holding you back, and what can you do to proactively take steps to dismiss those thoughts and dismiss those limiting beliefs, so that you really give yourself space and time to be able to grow. And then I want you to kind of challenge the assumptions that you're making as well about what good business looks like, or where your business should be, or where you think your business should be, or where it should be going to. So many times we are scared to make change. We are scared to make change in our life and make change in our business because we worry about what other people's opinions and thoughts will be. Perhaps the change is scary. Perhaps you have to you have to try new things. Perhaps you have to put yourself in a situation that's uncomfortable. But I want you to know that when we do that, when we do experience that growth, the outcome often shifts our perspective. It often, shifts us into action. It also often boosts whatever it is that we're working towards. And as scary as it can be, this is a vital part of learning. Remember that time I played touch football? That's like a perfect example for this. I was whinging about not having, about all of my friends doing team sports when they were growing up that then continue on to adult life. But as a dancer, you kind of dance until you're 18. And unless you go and do it professionally, that's it. You don't do it anymore. You can go to a Pilates class or a bar class or occasionally a dance class, but there's no kind of team sport element to dance after you grow up. So one of my friends challenged me to join a touch football team. Okay, I don't run. We know this, unless I'm on fire. So no. Ball skills, have none. Have no interest in catching and throwing and am hopeless at it. And also competition, that competitive sporting thing. My husband has it, but I don't have that. I don't have that win-win, push-win thing. And so you can imagine how terrifying this notion of touch football was for me. But I had to challenge those assumptions that, the assumptions that I made for myself, that I couldn't run, that I couldn't catch a ball, that people would laugh at me, that people would be like, what are you doing here? That I would be like, what am I doing here? And once I got over all of that, once I could think that through and go, okay, it's going to be scary. It's going to be different. You're not going to feel comfortable for the first little while, at least. But you're going to do it anyway. As soon as I could challenge those assumptions and take that step and put on my big girl pants and, turn up on the footy field in my dancing shoes with my sparkly earrings on, which everyone made fun of me for, I could then participate. And the amount of personal growth that I got from that, which I didn't even link it to my business, right? I was like, this is just something I'm doing for me. But the amount of personal growth I got out of that experience, and the amount of, therefore, gumption I was able to bring into my everyday life, including into my businesses, was massive. It was massive. The same thing with when I went to the snow. Remember that time I went to the snow? And when this episode airs, I'm back there again. So get onto my Insta story. I highly recommend it. But if you missed last year's, you can go to the highlights on my Insta story and view the whole 17 minutes of me really outside my comfort zone and really struggling. But I tell you these two stories to make you believe that this growth that you are desiring and what these places you really want to go with your business, it comes from working on yourself. It comes from identifying those limiting beliefs, challenging those assumptions, surrounding yourself with people who will support you and will hold your hand or throw you the ball, or in my case, not throw me the ball, because that was my condition. Like, I will be here on the field, but do not throw the ball to me. I'll run up and down. I don't want to touch it. And that worked for a little while. So I surrounded myself with people who understood why that was important to me. And if you do that as well, if you surround yourself with people who understand what is important to you, what the growth is that you are hoping to achieve and that are cheerleaders for you in that, then the sky's the limit. You can achieve anything, but it's not going to come easy. And you do have to take that first step in order to get to where you want to get to. I talk about surrounding myself with people. Surrounding yourself with other women in business is a really good place to start. If you're kind of thinking, well, my partner doesn't run their own business, or my best friend works for somebody, and you don't necessarily have someone to bounce off in terms of the struggles that are part of running a successful business and still having a life, then I encourage you to start where other women are, other women business owners, because they have been in the trenches too. They will be in a great position to be able to encourage you. They will be able to empower you and support you. Unlike the girls in year 9 who were more interested in probably tearing you down. Once you get really strong and really, you can really affirm those beliefs and those goals, those things that you really want to achieve, and you surround yourself by people who understand that and who are rooting for you, again, the sky's the limit. You can't go wrong. So this stuff is scary. I will acknowledge that. I'm not saying it's easy. It wasn't easy for me to put on a pair of sneakers and prance my way out onto a footy field, or to put a pair of skis on for the first time and have Heath throw me down a mountain. But they are moments in my life that have led me to incredible growth. And if you can figure out what the equivalent is for you of putting on the skis or, running out onto the field in your business, what are those things that really scare you? What are the things that are just beyond your reach? You want to get there, but it all feels a little bit too much. You feel like you're not ready for it. You feel overwhelmed. You feel like it's for someone else and not for you. I'm here to tell you it is. If you can see it, you can dream it, you can want it, you can make it happen. It is going to take you stepping out of your comfort zone. It is going to take you putting on your big girl panties, but you can do it. And if you surround yourself by other women who will help lift you up and celebrate you and support you in that dream and in that vision, then you're going to be sweet. I'd love to hear about your dreams and visions. I'd love to hear about what that challenge is for you. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a photo with your phone, take a little screenshot, stick it on your Insta story. And whilst I'm in the snow, I will check it and get back to you. Of course, wish me luck, because again, people say the second time's easier. I've had a lot of advice this week that don't worry, the second time is a lot easier. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm flying down the mountain. But whatever your mountain is, I know that you can achieve it. And if you want my help in that, then of course you can always reach out, send me a DM on Instagram, or hit me up at simplystacymorgan.com. If you want to grow your business, join us for our webinar on the 5th of September, Operation Growth, 5 signs your business is ready to grow and how we can take you there. I do hope you can join me. We'll send you the replay if you can't make it live, but you do need to register at simplystacymorgan.com. Thank you so much for listening. Get out there and do something that scares you this week, and then report back. I'd love to hear what it is. You got this. I'll talk to you next week.